The mountain swallowed her helicopter at 4:12 in the afternoon, and by 4:15, Marcus Holloway was screaming at the one machine he had mocked just 3 days earlier. If you believe in kindness, in second chances, and in the quiet things we dismiss until they save us, hit that like button, drop a comment below, share this with someone who needs a little hope today, and subscribe to Real Dad's Story so you never miss a tale like this one. Now let's step into the storm. Marcus Holloway built his fortune on speed. His company, Holloway Dynamics, manufactured drones for agriculture, for construction surveys, for wedding photography, anything that made money quickly and cleanly. 3 days before the storm, a young engineer named Priya Devaraj had walked into his glass-walled office holding a battered prototype held together with duct tape and stubbornness. She called it the Sable Unit, a search and rescue drone she'd built on nights and weekends, designed to fly through zero visibility using thermal mapping and a navigation system that didn't rely on GPS satellites alone. Marcus had barely looked up from his phone. He told her the company didn't chase charity projects, that rescue drones were a money pit with no return, and that she was wasting resources the board would never approve. He called the Sable Unit useless, told her to shelve it, and walked out of the meeting without another word. Priya had gone home that night feeling smaller than she had in years, the kind of small that makes a person question whether their work, their passion, their whole reason for showing up each morning, actually matters to anyone at all. Marcus didn't think about Priya again until his daughter Vivian called him from base camp, her voice cracking as she explained that her mother's helicopter, chartered for a routine mountain survey of a wildfire recovery zone, had lost contact during a sudden storm rolling in from the northern ridge. Marcus's ex-wife, Renata, a geologist who still flew into remote terrain the way other people commuted to an office, had been aboard with the pilot and one field assistant when the radio went silent. The last known coordinates placed them somewhere along a jagged limestone ridge notorious for swallowing signals whole, a place where fog rolled in like a curtain closing on a stage, and where search helicopters themselves had been grounded twice in the past for flying blind into rock. By the time Marcus reached the command tent at the base of the mountain, the rescue coordinators had already delivered the news he dreaded most: no manned aircraft could fly in these conditions. Winds were gusting past 60 miles an hour, visibility had dropped to almost nothing, and temperatures were falling fast enough that every hour without contact narrowed the odds of survival. Marcus stood in that tent surrounded by radios crackling with static and maps marked with search grids nobody could safely fly, and for the first time in years, he felt the particular helplessness of a man whose money could not fix what was in front of him. He thought of Renata's laugh, the one that used to fill their kitchen before ambition pulled them apart, and he thought of Vivian, 22 years old and sobbing quietly into her hands a few feet away, and he understood with a kind of sickening clarity that all his boardrooms and quarterly reports meant nothing on a night like this. It was Vivian who remembered the Sable Unit. She had seen the prototype once, months earlier, when Priya had proudly shown her the thermal footage it captured during a test flight through a smoke-filled warehouse. Vivian grabbed her father's arm and told him there was a drone built exactly for this, a machine designed to fly through storms and fog and find heat signatures no human eye could see, and that the woman who built it worked 2 floors below his office. Marcus felt something twist inside his chest, a mixture of shame and desperate hope, as he dialed Priya's number with hands that weren't quite steady. Priya answered on the second ring, and when she heard Marcus's voice, thick with a fear she had never once heard from him, something in her softened despite the sting of his earlier words. She didn't ask him to apologize. She didn't demand credit or vindication. She simply asked for the coordinates, told him to keep the line open, and within 11 minutes she was in her car with the Sable Unit's transport case rattling in the back seat, driving toward the mountain through rain that hammered her windshield like a warning. When she arrived at base camp, soaked and breathless, the rescue coordinators eyed the small drone with open skepticism. It looked nothing like the massive rescue helicopters grounded in the hangar behind them. It looked, if anything, fragile, a machine built from carbon fiber and hope. But Priya had spent 2 years teaching this drone to see through darkness the way she herself had learned to see past dismissal and doubt. She knelt in the mud, opened her laptop, and began running diagnostics while wind screamed against the tent walls hard enough to make the canvas snap like a whip. The first launch failed within 90 seconds, the Sable unit knocked sideways by a gust that sent it spiraling before Priya wrestled back control and brought it down safely. Marcus watched her hands shake, watched her jaw tighten, watched her mutter numbers under her breath as she recalibrated the stabilization software in real time, rewriting flight parameters on the fly with the kind of quiet brilliance he had never once bothered to notice back in his office. She launched a second time, adjusting the drone's angle of attack to cut through the crosswind instead of fighting it directly, and this time the Sable unit climbed, wobbled, and steadied itself against the storm like something learning to breathe. For the next 40 minutes, the command tent fell into a silence broken only by the hum of the laptop and the distant thunder rolling across the ridge. The thermal feed showed nothing but gray static and the ghostly outline of rock and snow, mile after mile of empty mountain that offered no sign of the missing helicopter. Vivian gripped her father's hand so tightly her knuckles turned white, and Marcus, a man who hadn't prayed since childhood, found himself murmuring words he barely remembered under his breath. Then, at the edge of a narrow ravine the search grid had marked as low priority, a small cluster of orange bloomed on the thermal display, 3 distinct heat signatures huddled close together beneath what looked like the crumpled shape of a fuselage. Priya's voice cracked as she called out the coordinates, and the rescue coordinators scrambled into motion, radioing a ground team that could reach the ravine on foot even where aircraft couldn't fly. It took another agonizing hour of hiking through sleet and loose rock before the ground team's flashlights found them. Renata, injured but conscious, her arm braced against her assistant's shoulder, and the pilot, bleeding from a gash above his eye but alive, all 3 of them alive because a machine everyone had doubted had gone where no one else could. When they carried Renata into the medical tent, Marcus broke down in a way his daughter had never witnessed, the kind of crying that comes from years of buried fear finally finding an exit. He didn't rush to take credit, didn't call the press, didn't think for 1 second about how this would look for Holloway Dynamics. He walked instead toward Priya, who sat exhausted in the mud with her laptop still open, thermal footage glowing faintly on the screen, and he knelt down beside her the way she had knelt beside her machine hours earlier. He told her he was sorry, that he had been wrong not just about the drone but about her, about the value of building things meant to save lives instead of simply making money, and that nothing he could say would ever fully repay what she had done that night. Priya, too tired for pride, simply nodded and told him the Sable unit had done exactly what she always believed it could do, it just needed someone willing to give it a chance. If this story touched your heart even a little, please take a moment to like this video, leave a comment telling us which part moved you most, and share it with someone who might need a reminder that kindness and second chances still exist in this world. Your support means everything to this channel and helps these stories reach more people who need them. 6 months later, Holloway Dynamics launched an entire division dedicated to search and rescue technology, with Priya Devaraj at its head, her name on the patent, her vision finally given the resources it deserved. Marcus visited that division often, not as a boss checking on output, but as a father who understood now what it meant to build something that mattered more than profit. And before we close tonight, if you're watching this and you believe every dreamer deserves a chance to be heard, type the word "believe" in the comments below, so we know this story reached exactly who it needed to. Renata recovered fully, and on quiet evenings she would sometimes find Marcus standing on his balcony, staring at the distant mountains, grateful beyond words for a machine once called useless, and for the woman who never stopped believing in what she built, even when no one else did.